heavy. A little bit later, we've got some really interesting. Um, how will I say it? They call it. I don't know. They want to call it racist, misogynistic, or some crap like that. I really don't know. It makes no sense to me. We'll see if we can figure out what exactly it is that they're talking about. And of course, we've got more issues about the border. It is insane the amount of crap that you have to you have to see it to believe it. You really do. And we'll just start out with this. It's crazy. Aspects of U.S. restrictions on asylum seekers may violate international protections. Really. So in Geneva, the head of the UN Refugee Agency said Thursday he understands that the Biden administration enacted new restriction on asylum seekers entering the United States, but cautioned that some aspects of the executive order may violate refugee protection required under international law. Well, if you guys want to talk international law, go find an international lawyer. I'm not that. International law states that they should be stopping at the first country that they come to and not their bordering country. That's their international law. If they want to become a asylum seeker, and so now they want to call them refugees, illegals is what we call them. Entering this country illegally is illegal. That means you go home. Bye bye. Back to your own little country. If you don't like your little country, there's a way that you can seek asylum in the United States, but you have a strict bit that you have to abide by. And this Filippo Grandi, UN High Commissioner for Refugees, don't never heard of him. Since when does he dictate United States rules? When do any of these dictate what happens in the United States? These Buttheads report found that the cumulative number of people that have been subjected to forced displacement rose to 120 million last year. 6 million more than in the year before. The refugee agency noted that the total count was roughly equivalent to the entire population of Japan. Should we maybe send them to their own island? That's the size of Japan. Maybe. I hear Snake Island is very comfortable this time of year. Plenty of food, too. The report found that three-fourths of the people who were forcibly displaced included both refugees driven abroad. Well, if you're driven abroad and you're supposed to be a refugee, you go to the nearest country that you come to. And those countries can't handle an influx like that. And therefore, take your ass back to your country, straighten it out there. It's no different than you traveling from California to the rest of the world, and then you think that we need to be worried about you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Boomer. What did I do? Silent? I don't think I'm silent. I shouldn't be. No sound? You did like, who can read lips? Boom. What the hell? You're telling me there's no sound. I didn't change any settings. Test 1, 2. Weird. Testing. Let me see what's going on. What's going on? Let's see boom, boom. Now, do I have any? Can you hear it? Something? Yes, no, no, yes. Thumbs up if you can hear something. Pre-recorded? No, it wasn't up late with the. Nope. No, damn it. So you can hear sound. All right. I don't know how that managed to happen. It's weird. It never should have happened. I've found out what happened. For whatever reason, settings changed on my microphone. Save settings. That was weird. And low cut filter is off. Save settings. Saved. Okay. That's weird. That never should have happened. Almost burned up my microphone. It was running on phantom power, which is weird. Whoa, too much. That better? That a little better? Let me hear what exactly you guys are hearing. Make sure that it sounds correct. There we go. All right. Good to hear you. Wow. One of the dogs snuck in and did it. I have no idea. I had to restart my computer this morning, and because my audio wasn't working here, so that shouldn't have, because it's supposed to save it and remember it. So I don't know what the hell just happened. Weird as all get out. Sorry about the loud volume. Yeah, streaming stuff does that to your mic. Volume just dropped. There, I can turn it up a little bit if that helps out. Bring it to what looks like might be a reasonable level, maybe. Good. Well, let's try this again. Because yeah, I wasn't even looking at the chat. I'm so sorry. So sorry about that. Yeah, we'll try. Oh, we'll just have to make this happen. Alexa turns the volume down when she is listening to you for the Alphabet Boys. Oh, that's probably true. Good to see you, Brandon. Good to see you. Oh my God. By the way, I noticed that there was some issues going on, and you guys were complaining quite a bit about the ads were showing up. So I've just gone in and demonetized these during the show. Just eliminated them. So if you're catching this live, I won't turn any of the monetization on until after the show, after the stream, because you guys were complaining just like I'm so sick of seeing these ads. They keep coming up and they keep playing like Camel Toe Harris's stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, I need to do something about this. And well, so I've turned that off. We just demonetize ourselves on these things because you never know what we're going to say. I do have to add something in here though. At some point today, that will happen. Yeah, for my break, we worked on that last night, but I got involved with Expert and Valhalla and MG Law and all those other fine people with Volstorm. It was a good time last night. We had a blast. It was fun. Lots of laughs abound. So, no, not a problem. No problem. I mean, I do have. I do also. So that's why I tend to forget that there are ads that come popping up on this. But that should take care of that quite a bit. So I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. But they were complaining. Here's the thing. UN Refugee Agency said Thursday he understands that the Biden administration enacted new restrictions on asylum seekers, and they're just going to complain about asylum seekers. Now, there's a big difference between asylum seekers, refugees, and then there's another difference between illegal immigrants. We have a process in the United States of how you are allowed to come into the United States. And as they've said multiple times, if you want to come into this country, you go to one of the border crossings, the legal border crossings, and you apply for asylum. If you're wondering why it takes so long, that is the process. It's not meant to be fun or fast. You're leaving a war-ravaged country. You should be, the first country that you come to is the country that you should be stopping in. There should be no reason ever that you cross multiple countries just to get into the United States. Ever. We'll go more into that a little bit later. And of course, they want to talk about the crisis in Africa has been largely overlooked, particularly in Sudan, where some 10.8 million were displaced at the end of last year. So why would that be happening? Because there was a conflict that erupted between forces loyal to rival generals. And that was in April of 2023. Now, if you look, you've got Africa, over here. You got United States over here. Nowhere should there be any border crossing. We don't border on them at all. Grandy said the world's focus on crisis faced by refugees and internationally displaced people. Has largely centered on Hamas in Gaza, where a devastating and deadly war erupted in October last year, and Ukraine, which has been saddled by Russia's invasion since February 22. Well, whose watch was that under? Whose watch was these things under? Are we talking about, President Potato Head? Is that what we're talking about? Where this stuff has been going on for Joe Biden? It's his issue that caused this? That won't stop the domination cracks. Yeah, who need their votes and cheap labor. He lamented on how the world has largely overlooked the refugee crisis spawned by a war in Sudan. If you don't like it, then fix your country. That's all there is to it. Fix your country. Don't bring your bad policies to my country, just like don't bring your bad policies to my state and ruin my state like you ruined yours. I mean, all you folks in California that get so upset whenever you come, to Georgia here, and you go, man, I don't understand why all these people are playing banjos and hanging out with their cousins all the time. Don't make no sense to me. Well, leave us alone. We do things differently here in the South. He criticized the Biden's administration on plans. No, that's all that it is. It's plans to enact new restrictions. He hasn't done it yet. He just has plans, big grand plans to do these things. And and it's illegals. If you want to seek asylum at the border, there is a legal process that you go through to do it. Exactly. Asylum seekers, if they are coming from Brazil, they should be seeking asylum from... Actually, if they're coming from Brazil, there's other places before they even get there. Before they even get to Brazil that they should be stopping off at. We do it our way in the South. That's right. Don't you come down here trying to take our guns or our cousins. And damn it, if you touch my banjo, we're gonna have words. We might touch hands. Seen as some political maneuver ahead of the national elections in November. Well, yeah, exactly. Because it won't matter now. For Biden, it doesn't matter what policies he enacts, because those policies that he enacts are not going to be for him. He left his legacy as one of the worst as the worst president in recent history. Thank you, Brandon. Portugal. The Portuguese don't want them either. They're just like, no. It's funny, they come to our country very well fed. How does that happen? As a possible violation of international humanitarian law, but he acknowledges that the administration's ambition to resettle resettle some 125,000. We're in the millions, We are in the millions of illegals in this country. See, here's the problem with our wonderful news overlords that want to promote this changing words and meanings to not what they mean. Okay? An illegal immigrant is an illegal immigrant. A migrant is someone that comes to the United States for a short period of time, and I'm just using the United States as an example. A migrant comes to the United States for a certain season, and then they take their happy asses back home. That's a migrant. Okay? They migrated, and they migrate their ass back. That's a migrant. An immigrant is someone that comes to this country seeking to become a member of this country. and they go about it in a legal way. They come through the border, they apply, and they can either be denied or they can be allowed in. Right? A refugee is completely different from all of that. A refugee, whenever they come to the United States, they are looking for some sort of asylum from the crap hole country. Yeah. Yeah, it's we have some 30 million illegals by now, getting close to double-digit percentages. Yeah. And you're telling me all these people are coming from war-ravaged countries? If they're coming from war-ravaged countries, there's in that large of number, there's an easy way to stem that flow. I think in catapults, you might be able to get enough distance to get them back to their country, because they didn't come that far. And the little ones, man, they fly even further. Like, you can really get some momentum on them. If you skip them just right, they might hit a mountain range. I'm kidding. Sarcasm. In the U.S., on Wednesday, a coalition of illegal immigrant advocacy groups sued the administration over the recent directive on asylum claims at the southern border, saying it differs little from a similar move by the Trump administration that was blocked by the courts. No, it wasn't. Under pressure from the U.S. government, Mexico has stepped up arrests to keep illegals from reaching the U.S. border. Mexico sends illegals back on buses and releases them. See, this is the problem. Those aren't migrants. Those are illegals. Big difference. But if you live in El Salvador and the U.S. is letting me in and giving me free stuff, gee, they don't walk it. Trust me, they ain't walking shit. They're hitching a ride and being fed along the way. Yeah, we're talking hundreds, if not thousands of miles through mountains that these people are walking. I don't buy it for a second. Not one damn second. The tactic illegal alien advocates say is intended to exhaust their resources. But it also exposes them to repeated extortion from authorities and kidnapping by criminal groups. Good. Make it worse on them, so if it's much worse, they realize that cost that's gonna cost them most likely their lives is taken care of, and they stay in their own country. Fix the problems in your country before you come to another country. Invaders, exactly. And we know what the truth of this is. We know that they're invaders. We know that they are these kinds of people that want to come to this country and change it drastically. This Unker reported that it also highlighted difficulties faced by illegals and internationally illegals, people amid conflict in countries like Congo and Myanmar, and noted that Syria remains the world's largest displaced crisis, with nearly 14 million people forcibly displaced both inside the country and abroad. Do I care? No. Stay in your country, fix it, or die trying. It's not hard. I mean, do you think if our country was invaded, that if I went to another country, they would allow me in? No, probably not. And it's pretty bad whenever America is supposedly some big beacon on the hill for these people. Is it only because we give them free shit? Is that what it is? Huh. I wonder. But of course, if it goes to tell you anything, just look at this. UK's scrapped Rwanda illegal alien plan, a shocking waste of 904 million. 904 million. We're almost talking $1 billion. And I guarantee you they're underreporting this number. In public funds, this is what the new prime minister says. A scrapped plan by former British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to send some illegals on a one-way trip to Rwanda was the most shocking waste of taxpayer money I've ever seen. The UK's new Home Secretary said Monday as she put the cost at £700 million, or roughly $904 million in public funds. Sunak's successor, Keir Starmer, spiked the controversial plan as soon as his Labour government came to power this month. Sunak has made stopping the boats a key policy as his Conservative government struggled to stem the flow of illegals from across the English Channel from France. But his plans were stalled by legal challenges and were widely criticized by human rights groups. Yes, invaders. Home Secretary Yvette Copper said the failed plan's cost included £290 million in payments to Rwanda, plus chartering flights that never took off, detained hundreds of people, then releasing them, and paying for more than 1,000 civil servants to work on the scheme. Pronounced British Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer. I love it. Rwanda's government said it was not obligated to refund the money. Duh. You giving us free money? Sure, we'll take your money. And then we send you back to your country. Go away now. The previous government had planned to spend over £10 billion of taxpayers' money on this scheme. Then they didn't tell Parliament that. Home Secretary Cooper told lawmakers. The Home Secretary said the high number of risky small boats crossings will likely persist through the summer. Well, I mean, mounted machine guns will tend to deter people. She also acknowledged that the more needs to be done to tackle people smuggling upstream. Did not spell out details. I'm thinking big slingshots with rocks on them. Yes, not like the trebuchet, because the trebuchet sort of has more of a distance. But if you get big slingshots and you get some flat stones and you put them in there just right, you could probably get those things skipping across the water and get a bunch of the illegals as it skips. I mean, it's risky, but you might hit somebody on the other side of the English Channel. I don't know why they're coming from Rwanda and France. That's a weird route that you're taking. Mexican population is half of the USA, but the same raw number of pew-pew deaths. Think about that. That's something to think about. Official figures showed that nearly 15,000 illegals had arrived in the UK on small boats across the English Channel in the past week alone. The French Coast Guard said 2 people died amid rescue operations off the northern French coast. Well, good. Good. I mean, I don't glorify in this, but make it a deterrent. Sunak's plan was meant to address the growing number of illegals from around the world, reaching a high of 46,000 in 2022. Really? You're concerned about 46,000? We get that a day. Easy. And you're worried about your little country getting 46,000. Oh. Most who arrive that way apply for asylum in the past. Many, but not all, quite a few have not, have received it. The Conservative government argued that these illegals should not be treated as genuine refugees because they did not claim asylum in another safe country they reached first. Oh, there you go. There is the crux to it. That's the same in the United States. Is Biden really going to check out soon? I can't handle the cackler in chief. Oh, you're going to have to. And it gets worse. Oh, it gets so much worse. The UK struck a deal with Rwanda in 22 to send illegals who arrive in the UK as stowaways or on boats to the East African country where the asylum claims would be processed, and if successful, they would stay. Well, human rights groups and other critics of the plan called it unworkable and unethical to deport illegals to a country 4,000 miles away that they don't want to live in. Well, tough titty, said the kitty. We don't want you here either. That's what the English people were saying. The plan was challenged in UK courts, and this is why it cost so much money. No flights to Rwanda took off under it, so there was another waste of money. And then they had to feed them, and just 4 people have been removed to Rwanda, and they did so voluntarily. Well, yeah, I'd hope so. Britain's Supreme Court in November ruled that the policy was unlawful because Rwanda is not a safe third country where illegals can be sent. Really tough crap. Then don't send them here. Because they should be sent back to the home countries that they fled. There it is. That's why you don't reroute them. You get rid of them. But here's even a better one. Because we know that the illegal immigration is going to be one of the talking points about the next administration. And that's why we're covering this here. Local officials want Spain's help with thousands of illegal kids that have reached the Canary Islands just alone. Well, the children sometimes won't stop crying. Oh, save the children. It's always about saving the children. Really? Woe is me. Woe is me. It's all about saving the children. Why? Why does it always have to be about saving the children? I don't understand this. It doesn't have to be about saving the children. We can save human lives without saving the children. I'm positive of this. It's always been possible to save them. Woe is me. Woe is me. Give me just a second. I'm looking for something here because it's gonna be glorious whenever I get it in here. I have to find it. It is. Where is it? I know I downloaded it. There it is. All right. Video. And we'll save that. Here. Save there. All right. Let me do this. Okay. Hey, Roxanne. Roxanne. You don't have to turn on the red light. Soy ban. Oh my gosh. You know, if you're I'm probably spelling your name wrong or pronouncing your name wrong. I've always do that. So don't mind me. When the boat hits the harbor, we need to turn them around and go back. When the bodies hit the floor. Sorry. I'm bad. I'm feeling really damn frisky this morning. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. And I've got a good one for you guys. I really do. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Let me put this here. Something. There we go. All right. Yeah, once that one gets done processing, I will share it with you folks. So one Senegalese boy who disembarked recently kept fading every few minutes, troubling doctors who couldn't determine the cause. Other illegals finally explained the boy had witnessed both parents die during an arduous boat voyage from West Africa. Their bodies were thrown overboard into the Atlantic Ocean. Well, guess what? You don't flee your country, you don't have this problem. This is a risk you take. And of course, they said there's no medicine for that. Well, of course. And it really sucks. It really sucks. I feel for these kids. But this is not my problem. Thank you, Dance Bike Dance. There are almost no children in the boats that arrive here in England. Well, they have to, you have to understand, food is scarce on these boats, okay? And, the meat is very tender. That's all I'm saying. The meat is very tender. So that's why you're probably not finding a whole lot on the boats. And I mean, it is only a short trip. It's like it's like the Dahmer party for the double out for the 20s. I mean, think about this. 100 years ago, they talked about the Roaring Twenties. Well, we sort of screwed that pooch. We're about to hit the 30s. Everyone says, "Oh, and they had the Roaring Twenties and 30s ushered in a depression." We never had the Roaring Twenties. It lasted for what, 4 years? The Roaring Twenties year. The economy was doing good, and then all of a sudden it went to crap. Well, Morris Peckus is among the growing number of people sounding the alarm as the arpeggio, I'm not even going to pronounce that right, struggles to deal with thousands of teenagers and children traveling alone to a European Union territory from Senegal, Mali, and other African nations fleeing poverty, conflict, instability. Wow, it's amazing. And do you think that's going to change anything, them fleeing? No, it's not going to change anything. Yeah. Oh, I got something for you guys. Just bear with me. On Tuesday, Spain's parliament will vote to consider a legislative proposal that would force other regions to take responsibility for some of the miners currently stuck in the Canaries to dire conditions. Well, that's how it goes. The bill has sparked national political crisis. No, it's not a national. It is not a national political crisis. No. That's a you problem. That's. Oh, and of course, it's a conservative popular party. No, why don't you just say it's the popular party, the leading opposite. And I spoke with somebody about this before, and one of my friends from England. He said, "Oh, you silly Americans! They're what we consider liberal." And what we consider our most staunch conservatives are like your liberals. That's the conservative party in England. I don't believe him. So Dance Biker Dance could tell me the difference. He said, "Yeah, it's really it's different than what you think. They call them conservative, but they're actually more liberal than your liberals." I was like, oh. That makes sense. Not at all. Very confusing. But we're talking about people that drive on the wrong side of the road. So, what do you want me to do? It's true. They are very woke. See, that's what I'm trying to get through to people on this. Not to disparage. It really is. The liberals are in. It's different in the UK. It's just completely different, which I was surprised. Yes, they're conservative in name only. Yeah, that's and see, I knew somebody could correct me on that because I'm about 99% of the time completely wrong and off the rails. The Canary Coalition Party to support the deal, on the other hand, and they call them far right Vox Party, okay, which rails. Oh, I thought it said it rails irregular migration. I was like, why are they railing migration? Which rails against illegal immigration and particularly unaccompanied minors, is threatening to withdraw from its coalition governments in other regions if they accept any deal to relocate illegal immigrants, even voluntarily. Under Spanish law, the regional authorities where the children arrive are responsible for their guardianship, but the Canary Islands government says that it's overwhelmed with more than, only 5,500 minors. We see that on a daily basis, and far above its capacity for 2,000. So there's a simple cure to this one. There's this little island somewhere in around Epstein. I'm just kidding. That's so bad. I hear that there's a lot of, politicians that like to hang out there. I have no doubt that when Shizzy becomes border czar, he'll be down at Eagle Pass personally launching the trebuchets. Only in unison. It has to have, And you have to have the camera angle just right, so whenever they launch, it just goes down, looks like a bunch of dominoes. Just and you can stop the ones that are coming across. Yeah. Yeah, that was a bad joke. I shouldn't have said that. When that's usually what's happening with a lot of these kids. I mean, sorry, it sucks, but that is what is happening with these kids. Why do you think the politicians have no problem, sending kids to the United States? Why do you think they have no problems storing them in some of these facilities where they're abused? They don't have any issue with that. Why? Most of these the better of the people, they want to send these kids back with their parents, back whence they came. A lot of these kids are not coming with parents. It's horrible. It's rotten. Kendall warned this situation is only expected to deteriorate as boats keep sailing. Well, fire arrows work really well too. You just bigger the arrow, more flames it can hold in it. Nearly 20,000 men, women, and children have reached the Canaries so far this year, a 160% increase from 2023. So maybe there's something that you're doing that needs to change. Maybe. If the bill doesn't pass for consideration in the Spanish Parliament on Tuesday, it would be a failure for Spain and Europe. How would it be a failure to launch people back to whence they came? Here's a better boat. Go back. How about you fish along the way? Here's a bottled water. You have to figure the rest out on your own. It's enough to go to a center to see the youth and feel their pain. Yes, it is. But I have lost shits to give. That is the best description I can say. I've lost the shits to give. Meanwhile, professionals like Maura Pisces, it looks like feces, say they feel helpless in the face of so many children. Yeah, that's how it goes. You should feel lost, and you wouldn't have to if you sent them back to their country. It's a wonderful thought. Today I arrived at my shift and my colleagues were crying. Gross and balls. I started working, and in the end, I ended up crying too. Moraeus Feces wrote on X last week. Oh, wonderful. So, I don't care what you posted on X. It brings me back to that one particular post that I saw, and it was during, I think, the pandemic. It is one of the most hilarious things, and I think I saved it somewhere. I want to see if I've got it, because it explains in all these people that post on X all their little worries and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we've seen this kind of thing. Let me see if I've got it here. It is that it? It's closer. Nope. Getting closer. Did I post it? Did I save it? I thought I saved it. No, well, anyhow, what it was is there's this scene where this girl is. I just lost so many people, and you see her weeping against the wall, and I can't believe that this happened. So, a guy basically showed what it would take for her to get this wonderful little TikTok thing. And what it was is you have to walk up and put your phone in the mount and make sure that the angle is just right. And then you have to hit record. And then you have to walk over and feign like it was the roughest day. It's inorganic. And then you tear off your little mask. You walk back over. You double check. You add some music to it. And then you have to post it up on TikTok. It's and you post it on X or wherever the hell it is, and you say it was such a rough day. Yeah. I don't think you're having any problem eating their Moraeus feces. Last week, doctors tried to save a 2-year-old girl who arrived on a boat from Senegal with her 8-year-old brother and mother. The girl got separated from her family and died despite attempts to save her. Weird, huh? That's what happens whenever you open up and say, "Come one, come all, we will destroy you in other ways." Maurice Feces had to deliver the tragic news to her mother. The mother asked for a photo of her daughter's body, which Maurice Feces asked the funeral home to send. While the vast majority of unaccompanied minors arriving are teenage boys, Candil and others say they are concerned by the increasing number of young children, particularly of young girls traveling alone. Yeah? Where are they coming from? Why are they being sent there? It's highly unusual. Well, that's because there's too many eyes on the guys that are guys, gals, whatever. Whenever I say guys, I mean in general terms, that usually are there to pick them up, to use them for nefarious needs. And those kids will disappear. It's tragic. It's horrible. And had the UK and other countries like the United States not allowed these things to happen, said stay in your own country, you're not welcome here, this would be a non-issue. Under Samu's care is a teenager who fled Mali due to her sexual orientation. Okay. Why would that be a thing? I'm assuming that this one that fled, and whenever they're saying sexual orientation, more than likely it is a trans boy, girl, whatever, I don't know. And that right there got him attacked. The U.S. is a pretty generous country. I don't think the libtards do not realize how much more good it could be. No, because they want to spread that goodness to everybody else in hopes of having the appearance of they've justified their social. It's a guilt thing. That I think is what it is, because they have these feelings of hatred and distrust for the other. You know, the ones that don't look like them, that might be a different color or shade or different orientation or something like that. So they feel this internal guilt. I say they just need to go, become Catholics or something, where they just live a life of guilt. But they have this internal guilt. All right, this deep down internal guilt of I know I shouldn't be looking at this dark skinned person this way and having these thoughts, so I feel guilty, and I'm gonna lash myself for it, and I have to become something that I'm not, instead of going, why don't I learn about this person, and instead of looking at them according to their color, maybe judge them on the type of person they are. See, that's the problem they run into. Instead of being able to look at somebody and go, they look like a gangbanger, maybe I don't need to be trying to get to know them. Maybe it'd be a good idea, because they are not looking to do anything but harm me. Maybe a thought, but instead, no. Because this person right here, just because he happens to be white, and I feel all this guilt for it. I don't care if he's dressed like a gangbanger. I need to learn about him. I need to feel for him. My heart breaks. She hears politicians, even regular people, calling illegals rapists and criminals. Oh, really? Ears are confused. Sorry, Frank Otter. Yeah. Of course, they say some politicians, because and they'll take it out of context. They always do. One thing you can't take out of context, though, is that I'm going to go grab some coffee. And I'm going to let you guys hear the new song. It'll be a little bit of a video, and I will be back just shortly. and you don't get a video with it because I haven't created it yet, but maybe that'll happen sometime a little bit later. So you get the new song that we worked on last night. You get to hear that one. So hold on, I will be right back in just a few.
Sandy shores, get a tan, Rambo the orangutan. Driving a golf cart, oh man, Rambo is half crazy, yes he can. Well, that SOB's a sight to F and C. Oh, Rambo's rolling, rolling, rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Whoa, Rambo's rolling, rolling, rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is, well, that is too dirty to say here. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand. Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is a, that is too dirty to say here, Oh, Rambo's rolling, rolling, rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Otters in the surf, hummingbirds in the sky. Rambo honks the horn and spits in Shizzy's eye. Oh my! Oh, Rambo's rolling, rolling, rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Oh, Rambo's rolling. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the wave. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand, Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the waves. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand, Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Oh, Rambo's rolling, rolling, rolling. As the sun, he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having a effing blast. So here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too. Here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too.
Yes, I muted myself again. Thank you. Sounds great, but you're muted. Idiot. Yes, it happens. It should be a little bit better, but yeah, I did that for you guys because I didn't want you to see just a big blank screen of me walking away. Oh well, the attacks are going to be in almost immediately, and it's not the attacks that you think. It is not the attacks you think, and you'll notice that. What is it? Been about 11 days. 11 days since an assassination attempt happened on a former president, a current president, is jumping out of the race, and of course you got somebody else jumping in. So who is it that's jumping in here? Well, you'd be surprised to know. that this is the response to Camel Toe jumping in. Just watch and be prepared to laugh your ass off like nothing else.
Now, the attacks against Vice President Kamala Harris have been rolling in since she announced her intent to replace President Biden as the Democratic presidential nominee. This happened.
So, what he's saying, and I know that you guys are really interested in this, what he's saying is the attacks have been rolling in on Kamala, Camel Toe, whatever the hell her name is, okay, is because she's irrelevant. She has no respect for other people. Why would they give her any respect? She's been an absolute disaster of a prosecutor in her home state of California, whatever you want to call it, the combination on the West Coast. She's ushered in. She had people that were in for minor drug offenses that could not even get heard because she wanted to use them to put out forest fires. She was paid for by the state prison system to put out forest fires that were created under her watch. She found reasons why they couldn't be released. She was the top prosecutor in her state, and look at where that state is now. It has got a failed place. So here's where it becomes very interesting, because it is not about her failed policies that people want to talk about. Most of us really don't care what color her skin is, or that she claims to be from South, what do they call it, Southern Asia or some crap like that, or what most people call India. Don't really care. We don't care. We're looking at here's this. I've said this before. We're looking at the content of the person's character, not the color of their skin. We don't care what's between your legs or lack thereof. As humans, we don't care. Now, the left does, for whatever reason. I guess they feel some sort of guilt. It might be, I don't know, white guilt or some crap. It is, no, they said South Asian is what they call her. They call her half black, half South Asian. I don't care. The left seems to care about this. They're the ones making the memes about her. The right, they're just like, whatever, we don't care. Like, she's a crap human being. Well, we'll get more into that, because this one is gonna fuck with your head straight up, and you're just gonna be left shaking your head, because the guy that's gonna come in here, it's this is the Bay Area, so that it goes to show.
And of course, as you know, over the weekend, now some of the attacks have been on Kamala Harris, the politician. Others have been personal digs. And ABC.
Tough shit. You're a public figure. You get personal digs.
C7 News anchor and race and social justice reporter.
Now, could you imagine? You're a black man walking into this thing, and they call you a race and social justice reporter. Hey, Token, how you doing? Yeah, that's who you are. This guy, his name is Token. I feel for him. I really feel for this guy. I would have told them to go F themselves. They took away this man's agency. Her criminal escapades have impacted far more people than Biden, and she does it because she's a shitty person. Exactly.
Julian Glover is here now with a look at the attacks against Vice President Harris and why some are more personal. And it's really interesting to explore. His story is new at 6, Julian.
It's not the attack that you think. I would hate the giant who cackles worse than. I don't care. That's the thing. Whichever one is talking, it's just like, okay, don't care. The cackle that they have is a sign of insecurity and weakness. That's their cackle. That's what it appears to me. That's the read I get off of it. Is because they're so nervous. But like I said, the attacks are not going to be because, well, she's a crappy person or the things that you would think people would be saying. Whenever you hear what this is, you're going to go, oh my freaking God, you've got to be kidding me. This is where people are attacking her. I swear that once you hear this, you're gonna be left shaking your head like, what kind of backwards ass, backwater bullshit are they coming up with that came out of like California? I mean, this is some brackish water that just like seeped up through the soil. But this is what they consider an attack.
Hey there, Dan. Yeah, while there are certainly valid criticisms of the vice president on her career, worldview, policies, even people saying she covered up President Biden's declining stamina, many of these attacks are steeped in misogynoir. It's a term that speaks.
You heard that right. A word that somebody made up. It's a made up word. No. Soyban. It's even worse than that. It is a made up word. But they're going to explain it to you. They're going to explain this made up word. Yeah, I like massages also, Zach. Just saying, my shoulder's a little sore. Oh. No, I'm serious. This is a made up word. This does not exist except in their own fucked up minds. How do you battle something like this? You just look at them and go, you're a fucking idiot. I'm not even tolerating you. Just go away. Go away. This is like a 5-year-old coming up to you and trying to tell you how to fix a car. You're like, okay. No, you don't just pull the wheel off of it. You have to use a jack stand to hold it up. They don't.
To the unique mix of misogyny and racism faced by black women, and are an attempt to other the vice president, of course, starting with her name.
Borders are Kamala Harris and send her back to California.
You heard that right. Because people don't pronounce Camel Toe's name correctly. This is what they consider this made up name that they have. I joke not. They're saying because you can't say her name properly because she's that irrelevant. And they can't say my name correctly. My name is not Peter, it's Peter. Don't give two shits. Don't give two shits. What the hell your name is. Sure, it's the name you've had the whole time, and you answer to the name. So piss off. Don't care. I will make fun of your name until the end. Camel Toe. Has nothing to do with your race, your color, or what's between your legs. It's because you're a shitty person. You've sucked and fucked your way to the top. Okay, congratulations. Don't give two craps about you, because history is not going to be kind to you, and it's not because of the color of your skin or that you're a woman or any crap like that. It's because you're a shitty person.
Kamala Harris.
Vice President.
Oh, isn't it amazing? Whenever they say that, and you look at the... All right, I have to point this out. So if it's such a big deal, look at the name that they've spelled out here multiple times. Each time that they say this, It's spelled exactly the same way as it's said. Kamawanalana is how it's supposed to be pronounced. Yes. So apparently even the speech recognition understands there is no fucking difference. None at all. None whatsoever. There's no difference. No difference in it at all. It is the same exact thing. It is such a slight variation that nobody cares. But they're making a big deal out of it. So I'm going to make a big deal out of their stupidity.
Kamala Harris is no stranger to having her name mispronounced.
See, he even said it wrong. It's spelled camel toe. Kamawanalana.
But after nearly 4 years in the White House and 4 years prior as a headline-making
Don't just
senator,
watch. It'll do it.
Still,
It's going to do it each time that they say her name. It's going to be spelled exactly the same way. They're more concerned with how people are pronouncing her name. Camel toe.
happening.
Our border czar, Kamala Harris.
Well, look, it's spelled exactly the same way. It's like Fannie Willis, yeah. You spell it, it's going to show up the same way.
Kamala Harris.
Columbia
Same way?
University Associate Professor Dr. Brandy Summers suggests
Dr. Brandy what? Well, let's see. Did you spell her name correctly? Well, Dr. Brandy Summer, is it spelled with a Brandy or is it Brandi? Because it could be Bondi, could be Brandy, could be Brondy, could be Brondi. You misogynistic bastards. You can't even pronounce my name right. You can't even spell it right.
there's more to it.
If it's not intentional.
Look, what did I tell you? You misogyn wars or whatever you want to call it. The name is spelled completely different. I think it's pronounced whore, but I'm from another country, so you might have it wrong. It is a possibility. It is a possibility. I wonder how Brandy feels that they spelled her name wrong. That damn AI couldn't even get her name correct. It's spelled Brandi. And she's got a PhD as an associate professor of what? Jeez.
The intentional component is that they're not willing to learn how to say her name properly. It's creating another.
That's right, because we do not think she's relevant, because she is a shitty person. There you go. Look, hardly anyone says my name correctly. The first time, no big deal unless I point it out. Exactly.
Othering potential and say that
Othering.
she's too different to be a leader in this nation.
Along with her name, it's
No, she is such a shitty person that she should not be running anything. Yeah, Roxanne's like, I don't care. I don't care what her name is or how it's pronounced. If she's a shitty person, she's a shitty person. We don't want her running the country for that reason. Has nothing to do with her name, how it's pronounced, where she's from, what's between her legs. She's just a shitty person.
also her experience that's under attack. But
Yeah, let's talk about her experience. No, they won't speak on that. They're going to speak about the color, what's between her legs. And her
not
name.
what Harris has done once she got a seat at the table. They're also attacking how she got that seat at the table.
Yes.
100%. She was a DEI hire. He said he was going to hire.
Tim Burchett of Tennessee.
Correct. Tim is not wrong. She is a DEI hire. The only reason that she's in that position is not that she worked her way up. She worked her way up, but usually up the shaft.
Calling the vice president a DEI hire, a callback to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And
Their words, their discussion, their problem. It's like okay, well, are you saying that she's not? We've waded through enough shit. Don't need it any deeper. Oh no, it's going to get much deeper. If she can't handle the camel toe, she's got to go. There you go. Hey, that sounds like a new slogan right there. She can't handle the camel toe. She got to go. Camel
And the
toe
expanded
must go.
role that effort played in the aftermath of the police killing of George Floyd.
And
What? Okay. Opposite sides of the country. Complete opposite sides of the country. Okay? Bitch over in California. Bitch up in wherever the fuck it was. Two different situations. Way to co-opt. You don't want to be black except whenever it's convenient, right? Camel toe. That's what it is. Can't handle it. Oh, better copyright that. DEI hire. Otherwise, Whitmer would be VP. Mm-hmm.
And so to call her a DEI hire, it's as if she would only have this role because of this emphasis on race and inclusion.
Yes. Because you, young lady, are the one that has taken away her agency. This is what we on the other side of the aisle have been telling you the whole time. That you've taken away the agency. That whenever you use people like this, whenever you prop them up because of the color of their skin, or what's between their legs, or who they're having sex with, you young lady, are what caused this in the first place. Yes, that is why she has the role. Because you took away her agency. Do you not get it yet? And whenever the chickens come home to roost, you're the one that caused the bullshit. If you don't like it, then change the narrative. That's what they do. They don't like it, so we're going to have to change it. We're going to have to make up a new word because of our failed policies. You've been warned about this multiple times. DEI is bad crap. This is what you're going to end up with whenever you have to open up your colleges because, well, doggone it, we just don't have enough of the other skin color in here. We have to have more. You've taken away their agency, and that's what you did with Camel Toe. Because had she tried to do this on the merits and their skill, other than just the shake weight, if she had actually tried to do something, people would have much more respect for her. I mean, I can think of plenty of women that I can't think of their name off the top of my head that were in administrations past that were not diversity hires, that actually worked their way up to the top and busted their ass doing it. There's one that I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I believe she was with Bush. She worked her way up to the top. You've got people like Clarence Thomas. Look where he came from and look where he's at now. Yet, you young lady would attack him because of his policy, because you don't agree with it. You would call him an Uncle Tom because he sold out to policies that you don't agree with. Well, the emphasis on race is your fault. And whenever people call others out on it, you don't like it, well, you took away their agency. Therefore, you can just shut the fuck up. How's that?
Inclusion that undermines whatever experience she's had.
And now the Democratic Party is calling on Vice President Harris to use that political experience to do something never done before in history, mount a successful bid for the White House in just 4 months.
That's what they're going to say. 4 months. She's going to mount a successful bid. And of course, whenever she loses, it's going to be because, well, it's because of the color of my skin. Everyone's going, oh, I can't wait to see Trump debate her. You think there's going to be any debate between these two? She couldn't even handle herself on a stage with Tulsi Gabbard. She couldn't even handle herself on stage against any of the other people that were there. She ranked so low in her primary before a single vote was cast, she dropped out. She was polling so low. Do you think her poll numbers are going to soar? It's because of the color of her skin. Again, you took away her agency. Oh, it's because she's a woman. Oh, great. You took away her agency again. You know, you sit there and you throw rocks and you wonder why someone comes up and punches you in the nose because you're hitting their car with rocks. And go, I don't understand. Why would you do that? It's so violent. Yeah, you can't cry self-defense whenever you're the aggressor.
Dr. Summers argues that asking a black woman to save the day is also rooted in problematic tropes that paint black women as maternal figures and saviors. Take this interaction from...
What? So, I just... Dr. Summers argues that asking a black woman to save the day is also rooted in... Okay, this is stupid. I know I didn't hear that right.
Asking a black woman to save the day is also rooted in problematic tropes that paint black women as maternal figures and saviors.
Who's doing that? Oh, that's right. She was on with Drew or something like that. Drew Barrymore. I need to look up who this woman is. Feel better, Cynthia. Yeah, get to feeling better. I'm not feeling well and just lurking if I don't respond to greetings. Please don't take it personally. Oh, I never take anything personally. I'm glad to see that you're here. Be safe. Oh my God. No. No.
Take this interaction from CBS's The Drew Barrymore Show.
Drew Barrymore is an idiot. Okay? Drew Barrymore is an idiot. Simple as that. Because now you realize now they eat their own. Because I saw that interaction and it was freaking cringeworthy. It was so cringeworthy. I mean, I was shaking my head the whole time, like going, how cringe can this be? Oh no, it was cringe. It was very cringe. And you're going to see it too. But here's the thing. Drew Barrymore is a liberal, hardcore, all in. She would vote for Biden every single day, twice on Sundays. Throw in her hat for Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, whoever has a D in front of them, that's who she's voting for. That's who she's voting for. And the interaction that you're about to see, they just basically ate her own. They just ate her up. She's not liberal enough. She's not socialist enough. She's not cringeworthy enough that they're going to call her misogynistic or neurosigmogic and some magnetic pole or some crap like that. How does that make you feel, Drew? They just called you a piece of shit. They just called you a piece of shit for the way that you acted. You're about to see it.
For example,
we all need a mom. I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now. We need you to be Mamala of the country.
Black women are expected.
Yes. And you notice how Kamala won't show up with her own child. She shows up with her nieces. Because if she shows up with her own child, that looks like something out of it looks like Harry Potter and Dobby had a child is what it looks like. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's weird and freaky. She won't show up with her own kid. Yeah. She called her Mamala. Why not just call her Mammy and be done with it, Drew? I mean, come on. You racist. Jeez.
To be the ones to not only save individual households, but also kind of this national household. It becomes one of those things that's exhausting.
Now, these attacks.
Told you. They considered what Drew Barrymore said an attack. Yeah, I'm grown. I agree with you. I agree with you. You're grown. Don't need a mom. Never have. I've been fine without mine for the past 50 plus years. Ugh.
Attacks on Harris's identity are an extension of the culture wars we've seen waged in the country over the last few years.
No, these are what he said it right the first time. The culture wars that we've waged, because nobody else is waging them. They are the ones waging the culture war. Everybody else is just get the fuck out of my face. Dem's always trying so hard to tug on the heartstrings. Yeah. But they don't have a heart. That's why they're able to do that. We don't care.
She's faced these.
You know, and it's amazing to me that they've got her so airbrushed in this picture that, like, her face, it looks superimposed. They had to make her appear, and I'll point it out because it doesn't show you all the wrinkles that she has up underneath here. They've got her whitewashed out on the face, making her appear more white. They don't show all the stretch marks around her lips, you know, where her jaw opens up like a boa constrictor. They don't show any of that. They don't show any of the silliness, you know. They got her all cleaned up. They got her all cleaned up to make her look more white. Talk about racist, ABC. Good job.
Attacks, these criticisms during her time as San Francisco District Attorney, as Attorney General of California, as California Senator, and of course as Vice President. And these attacks certainly don't look to be dying down as she mounts her fight for the White House. Dan.
And it's a fight for her White House? She can't fight anything. She couldn't fight her way out of a wet paper bag. Oh, jeez. It's super fixed, or her lady beard stubble. Yeah, they don't show any of that.
Yeah.
Okay, Julian, thanks very much. So, where does Kamala Harris get her name from, Julian?
Oh, see, he even said it wrong.
Looked into that as part of our ABC 7.
Where does she get her name? Don't care. See, here's the thing. We don't care where she got her name. She could have got it from the back of a Cracker Jack box. We don't care. She's a horrible person. I'm sure she's got good attributes just like any other human being does. But in the role of president, no. And no again. See, now there is more of an accurate depiction than the last one. In this one, you see all the little crow's nests on her eyes. You see all the bags under her eyes. You see all the excess, luggage that she's got hanging under her neck. I mean, she is 69 or 59. But you see all the wrinkles, all the little scars, all the little flaws, the little things that other picture whitewashed out. Yeah. This pic shows all of it, but the last one, no, it doesn't show anything. Like I said, look at the difference between the two pictures. Look at that picture where it's all just cleaned up. She looks all fresh and clean. And then this one here, you can see all the wrinkles, all the crooked teeth. This one here, she doesn't have a crooked tooth in her mouth. This one here, you can see, oh yeah, well, yeah, that's some serious dental work, Well, or at least she pops her dentures out because, it's really hard to... Yeah, I'm bad. I want more Miss Mace, please. Ballstorm, what's up? You want to see Burkett Slammer again? Yeah. You want to see that again? Oh, yeah. I don't need to. I'll show something else. Oh. Like I said, this is what you're looking at. Let me change this right here real quick. Share that tab instead. And close this. My browser is acting slow. There's something going on. Hey, Debbie. Good to see you. Yeah, but when they airbrush Adam's apple, it shows those traps and delts. Big Mike is jealous. Big Mike is jealous. Oh, dude. Don't start it on Big Mike. Leave Big Mike out of this. Big Mike will leave you out. Oh, that's so bad. Why is it acting so funky? Damn it. All right. Here we go. Harris has support enough Democrat delegates to become the party's presidential nominee. Don't care. She has secured enough support from enough delegates to become her party's nominee without ever having to primary. She never had to primary for it. They just handed her the opportunity. She didn't work for it. She didn't work for shit. To get to vice president slot, she sucked so bad or sucked so good that they made her vice president. But this is even funnier. $81 million in 24 hours. Does this show support, or does it show that it's a scam? She is the DEI presidential nominee. And of course, Camel Toe is smashing fund-wrecking records as the Democrat Party's donors, big and small, open their wallets for the vice president in the immediate aftermath of Joe Biden's stunning decision to step aside. In total, Harris's team raised more than $81 billion in 24 hours since Biden said, The historic outpouring of support for Harris represents exactly the kinds of grassroots energy and enthusiasm that wins elections. No. This shows she drained Biden's account. That people that if there was 81 million, that shows you how much confidence they had in Biden in the first place. That shows how much confidence they had in Biden in the first place. That 81 million was sitting in the wings. They knew this was going to happen. This was pre-planned. It was completely pre-planned. They've got all the banners made. They've had these banners made for weeks, if not months, that say Biden. And don't worry. They already know who her VP pick is going to be if she wins. Or she'll be announcing that more likely at the DNC who her VP pick is. And don't be surprised, because they'll already have the banners made. They had the banners made months ago. It's not organic. Yeah. Exactly. She didn't raise money. It was a transfer. By the way, Trump could raise that today. Hell, Trump could raise that today just by selling a building. Just saying. Just saying. Hell, Trump could start a new company and raise that today. Like if he started a new company creating some sort of widget, do you know how many millions of dollars would pour into that company almost immediately? If he started a space exploration company, he said, "Oh, I'm doing a space exploration company, and this is going to be the IPO for it." Yeah, funds would pour in from all corners of the world. Hours earlier, Future Progress, or Future Forward, the largest super PAC in Democrat politics, announced it has secured $150 million in commitments, which are completely different, as we know from Amber Heard. $150 million in commitments doesn't mean that they're going to give that kind of money. It's a big difference between promised and actually in your coffers. Over the same period, from donors who were previously stalled or uncertain or uncommitted. Taken together, the fundraising explosion puts it all over Harris's face in a dominant position to secure the demons' formerly presidential nomination at the next month's national convention. You know, it's not my fault she hates white people. That's okay. I'm fine with that. I don't care if people like me or not. Call me racist, call me misogynistic, call me whatever the hell you feel like calling me, because I don't care. It doesn't affect my day-to-day life. It doesn't affect me whatsoever. That's a you problem. The huge haul also ensures that Harris and her allies can compete with Donald Trump. Sweetheart, you haven't been able to compete with Donald Trump ever. You're on completely two different playing fields. You're over here playing footsie with, senators and crap like that, whereas Donald Trump is able to walk onto the national stage. He's able to walk on the national stage and carry himself and be able to have conversations with leaders from other countries. You have not been able to. So, Kamala, your stepping up on the national stage was completely different than what it means to actually step on the national stage. Bouncing from border czar to going to South America or wherever the hell it was that you ended up, nowhere near the border, did nothing to help our country. We know this. It's not uncommon. We're not surprised by it. Never have been. And it's amazing to me that people think that we compare on that they compare on the same level. Let me see if I can find that. I'm going to do this real quick. Copy. There is no competition on the world stage with this person whatsoever. It just doesn't happen. She is irrelevant. I don't know, or non-relevant, whatever you want to call it, to the conversation. She cannot compete on a national level, and you're about to see how horrible she gets trampled. Because they're setting it up right now. If Trump goes and debates her, it's going to be misogynistic, because we know that Trump is so racist and misogynistic. Okay. Really? Like that's going to be your talking point. See, a guy that attacks you on your policies, calls you out on your stupidness, irregardless. Exactly. I know that Valhalla likes that. This is the next generation people have been waiting for. No, they haven't. And if anyone wants to try to call Camel Toe young or youthful or speaks to Generation X or anything like that, no, she doesn't. No, she's still a boomer. She does not speak to the youth, and whenever she does, she has to pay them to stay. The donors I've spoken to are enthusiastic about supporting her, and even those that may have preferred an open convention have quickly coalesced around her overnight. Sort of like sounds like a bad gangbang gone wrong to me. Harris, or what do they call it? Bukkake? Yeah. So they bukkakeed all over her with money. Harris' initial 24-hour fundraising easily bested the $50 million Trump raised immediately after felony convictions and the $38 million Biden secured over the 4 days that followed last month's disastrous debate performance. Really? So you want to compare apples to oranges? Just because you secured 83 million or whatever the hell it was, do you know what it matters? None. If people want to waste their money on a failure, wonderful. I guess they're hoping to buy a seat at the table. Overall, the Harris campaign said 888,000 grassroots donors. Oh, really? 888,000 grassroots donors. I would love to dig into those financials and see how many of those actually had a Social Security number attached to them. United States citizenship that weren't attached to Soros somehow, or Biden, because that's not grassroots. So let's put it this way: it's at 888,000. Okay, and what we'll do is we will take and just do the simple numbers here. Let's do the simple numbers here. All right, give me a second. So it was 83. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. $83 million. Oh, we'll be gracious. We'll change that to 81. How's that? We'll change it. We'll change it to the low number. $81 million. $81 million. $81 million. Divided by what was it? 888. That's such an accurate number, isn't it? 888,000 divided by that equals. So that means each person gave $91.21. Think about that. If they raised if they raised that amount of money, each person gave $100. 888,000 people gave $100. Now, that's not a lot of money. But of course, it would have to be 888,000 to come up with that number. Because if it was less than that, then those numbers start to get a little bit funky and a little bit weird. And what if someone just chipped in 20? That means somebody had to make up that extra bit of money along the way. And if it was just 888,000 or 887,000 that gave that small amount of money, just imagine the amount of money that one person would have had to donate in that tens of thousands. So she's about worth a nickel. When it comes down to it, she's worth about a nickel. That's all she's really raising. Trump will chew her up and spit her out. And that's the thing, he doesn't have to. Trump doesn't even have to work hard at it. And while there will be a few vocal holdouts among the party's elite donor class, most appear to be lining up behind Harris as they hope she will just bend over one more time as they mobilize to help capitalize on her newfound momentum. And like I said at the beginning of this, did you notice how quickly they took away the assassination attempt on Trump? Within less than 24 hours, they took all the steam out of it. Boom. So let's not talk about that. The news stopped reporting it. Oh, there's certain questions that are being asked, and those questions are usually being asked by certain people. So it was a cliffhanger. Nobody really knew what was happening. Los Angeles donor. Now there's a new game, and in a TikTok-influenced world, the campaign ahead is going to be short, dynamic, and re-energizing. Not everyone was happy. Well, I'm sure quite a few people weren't happy in her. Yes, the DNC is going to be a shit show, and I'm going to be going through a good part of it. Not the whole thing, but a good part of it, because I'm here for the shit show. Some of it I'll cover at night. Some of it I'll cover the next day. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be showing for the next few weeks. Her whole campaign will be nothing but her gender and her races. Meanwhile, we still have crappy economy and no border security. Yes. Democrat donor Vinod Kolasha, a tech billionaire, said on social media that he isn't ready to back Harris immediately. Well, I want an open process at the convention and not a coronation. Oh, good luck. They've already decided. The handlers have already decided. There's Democrats that were like, we need to have a mini primary. That way it looks like they didn't just... They want to do a mini primary because they want to make sure that it doesn't look like a DEI hire. Okay? Because they realize this is bad optics. This is such bad optics. If they nominate her without primarying her, it gives horrible optics because she wouldn't win the primary. Because there's too many Democrats that would be able to dominate her on that stage. They would dominate the conversation. They would absolutely destroy her. And her chances of even becoming president. And here's the thing. If they do decide to... Good morning, Two Awesome Dogs. Good to see you. If they do decide to do some mini primary, which I doubt that they're going to do because the AP is already reporting, well, it's already in the bag. It's already in the bag. If they do a mini primary, or she doesn't get, her coronation there at the DNC, then you know what the next step is. The next step is to make sure that Biden drops out of the presidency and she steps in place. Now, don't take that possibility out because, and I could be wrong on this. I could be absolutely wrong. If, for example, Biden was to happen to fail, can't run the country anymore, Biden or Camel Toe steps in. Even if it's one day before, they consider it being part of her term. So her first 4 years are gone right there. Even if it was just one day into it. So if Biden fails and is no longer with us, that means that she's served a 4-year term because she steps into place there. And of course, she would probably fight this in the courts if she were to win a second term. That would be her second term. She couldn't run anymore after that. So she wouldn't be able to get 8 years of running. She would be ineligible after that second 4 years. This is why they've hidden Biden away. And you probably see very little of him going forth. And if you see him, he's probably not have a whole lot to say. And it won't be too long after. It won't be too long after the election that, or I should say, it won't be too long after January 6th next year that Biden just, well, it'll just, oh, we're so sad. Yeah. Unfortunately, Harris is a knee queen. Yeah, I don't think they make knee pads there that can handle that. You have to be enthusiastic or hoping for a political appointment to be asking friends for money. I am neither, or it turns now, said Morgan on X. Who cares what they say on X? Such critics appear to be in the minority Monday. Chad, a member of the campaign's National Finance Committee and top Democrat fundraiser in the Los Angeles area, said the party is lucky to have Harris. You're ready to finish the job she and President Biden started together. No. They are puppets. Trump won't leave office. Once again, the Dems doing what they say Trump will. Yes. Exactly. If you want to see what the Democrats' playbook is, all you have to do is look at what they accuse the other side of doing. I used to... You guys remember Battleship, right? I know a lot of you remember Battleship back in the day. You sank my battle. Come on, you guys know which one I'm talking about. There was this girl that I used to play against. She could never understand why I would win every single time. The trick to it is she would look at where her boat was at, and she would call out the number. And I would go, huh. And so what I would do is wait for her to call out her numbers. Like, she'd go B4, and, she would use different battleships where they were located at. And so what I'd do is I'd remember them, and then I would call out the same numbers, like a couple of numbers back after her. And I would usually hit each one of her battleships. And so I would know where each one of them were. And then, of course, she would call out another number where one of her battleships were. And that would give me the longitude and the latitude of it. To be or not to be. Yeah. She finally figured it out whenever I just would repeat the number back to her. It took her years to figure it out. But yeah, maybe months. You know how kid time works. It's not the same. I mean, a month seems like years, and days seem like eons. But yeah, that's how I used to beat her. Just call out the same thing. That's no different than you have to do with Democrats. Just see what number they're calling, and just know that right there is what they're actually doing. So whenever they call you racist, misogynistic, just know that that's what they are. Or what do they call it? Misogynoir or no, I don't know. It's all retarded to me. Shiz was sending projectiles at defenseless maiden. Yes. That's what you do whenever you're like 8. With Biden's endorsement, Harris campaigns to be inheriting his sprawling national infrastructure. Well, you're also inheriting his failed campaign. Because all it takes, and it's really easy for Republicans to beat her. Like, even J.D. Vance could beat her in a debate. Like, without even thinking about it. But I digress. With Biden's endorsement, they've secured nearly $96 million in cash. On Sunday, Biden... Well, it's not Biden-Harris campaign anymore. Now it's Harris campaign, with the FEC establishing Harris as the principal candidate. Now, there's some debate among campaign finance officials over whether Harris now has complete control over the funds, although few expect any serious legal challenges. I wonder why that would be. When you were 8, I didn't know they made Battleship back in the Civil War area. Come on, man. You know me. I could do battle anytime. Yeah, Risk was always a fun one too. Good Lord. Meanwhile, Harris campaign sent out a new flurry of fundraising emails and text messages on Monday. Now is our chance to make history, Harris declared in one of her text messages, asking donors for $20. Come on, you got $20, don't you? Man, that's the cost of a loaf of bread. or 4 bags of chips. Actually, 4 bags of chips cost more than $20. Yeah. You can't even buy 4 bags of chips with $20. You want me to donate to you? Kiss my ass. And of course, like I said, if you want to see where the left is at, just look what they're accusing you of. This is what they're accusing you of. Harris steps into the limelight, and the coconut trees and memes have followed. Coconut trees. What do coconut trees have to do with her? If you're trying to get up to speed on Camel Toe's swift emergence as a Democrat nominee, possible nominee this fall, well, you really need to know your memes. No, I don't, because I don't give 2 craps about her. I mean, you want to see her memes? Here, I've got some memes for you. You want to see the memes? All right, we're going to show some damn memes, because I am so tired of their silliness. Like, they're missing out on the memes. All right, let me do this here. So we're gonna start with the memes, and we're gonna make them horrible memes, because that's what we do. We make the horrible memes. Hold on, here we go. All right. Here we go. Let's start with the horrible memes. You guys ready? You guys ready for the horrible memes? Well, here we go. Horrible memes.
My fellow Americans, I want to take a moment to address some of the hateful shit you've been talking about me. Many of you have said I am suffering from brain worms, or that I have applesauce for brains. Well, I won't mince words, so here it is. Fuck you. You're all a bunch of faggots. End of quote. Repeat the line. So enjoy President Cackles or President Booty Juice? I really don't give 2 fucks anymore. Biden out.
Oh, yeah. I've got more. We got more. Well, we've got more. Oh, yeah. Oh, it doesn't stop there. We got this one, too. This one was one of my favorites.
So what did you do to become the presidential nominee of your party?
Well, sometimes you just have to hawk Tua and spit on that thing, you know?
Yep. Oh, you want to see the memes? Wait until they make Dr. Jill a VP. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You know I'm going to do it. It's going to happen.
Should I do it?
Do not come.
I'm gonna do it.
Do not come.
I'm going to come.
Oh. Membership is on pause due to what happened to your CC. Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that. You know what? I wonder if I have. No, I don't have any. Damn it. I know I don't. I was going to say I do have the ability to give out some of those free memberships, but I've used all those up. And just remember, these are the people. These are the types of people that are being paid, mind you, to throw shade on you. Imagine the Democrat Party is paying these fine folks right here, like this little child that couldn't even vote in the last election cycle, that supposedly knows about politics. Get this.
You know, all of these Trump supporters are going to be incredibly disappointed tomorrow night when Donald Trump and Joe Biden debate, because they view Donald Trump as a god and they think that Joe Biden is sleepy. But that's not reality. What is reality is that Donald Trump has not been doing any debate prep. He's not preparing at all, whereas Joe Biden has been doing debate prep for the past 7 days. And he's been having mock debates every single day and reviewing policy and all that stuff. So what's actually going to happen is that Joe Biden's going to get up on that debate stage and slap Donald Trump around for 90 minutes. And then all of these Trump supporters are going to be incredibly sad over his performance. They'll never admit this, but they know it's true. You know.
I bet that didn't age very well, did it? Sort of like a rotten apple. It just fell from the tree a little bit too close to the ground, and, well, it just didn't age well, did it, son? Because you haven't been around long enough, and you just don't know how this stuff works. Almost 600 was taken out unauthorized as they know where it came from, taken care of it, and the money will be put back on a new card being sent up here. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I am so sorry to hear that. That is awful. That is absolutely awful. Yeah, you've got to be really super careful with that. You really have to be super careful with that. And I've got about 5 minutes of the most brutal. Now, I know that a lot of you watched, not all of you, but a lot of you watched the you know who Ketel is, okay? If you don't know who Ketel is by now, you know, and I thought about actually pulling it up and streaming it in the background while I worked and just have it going. And I'm sort of sad now that I didn't, but the good part is other people did that wonderful work for me, so I didn't have to. Here is one of my favorite right here.
Answers. Most of my questions are going to demand a yes or no answer. Do you
yes or
understand?
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question. Yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure? Yes or no?
Yes.
Was this tragedy preventable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
No.
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent? Yes or no?
I have always been
yes
eager to
or no?
come
You didn't
and
want to
talk
answer
to
the question.
committee.
We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political? Yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
She has no idea how her statement got out before she shows up. Really? Yeah.
Well, that's bullshit. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record articles by Punchbowl News, Political Playbook, Washington Post, all done at 5:24 a.m., 6:12 a.m., 6:34 a.m., a solid 3 to 4 hours before this committee got your statement.
Without objection, so ordered.
Okay. Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
Oh boy, she is going to get hammered so hard. She's going to make she's going to make Kamalto or whatever her name is look like she was taking a walk in the park.
Okay, you say you're fully cooperating with this committee. On July 15th, this committee sent you a list of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
I have to get back
That
in.
is a no.
That is a
Have
no.
you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no.
That is a
You're
no.
full of shit today. You're
Oh!
being completely dishonest.
Mr. Chairman,
completely dishonest.
Mr. Chairman, I want to.
Mr.
We have to maintain decorum in this committee, no matter how
have you provided
upset we
any
get.
and all memos to this committee that we've asked you on July 15th? Have you provided all memorandums within the Secret Service?
I would have to get back to you on
That is
This is
a
a
no.
no.
You are being dishonest or lying. Like I just, you're being dishonest here with this committee. These are important questions that the American people want answers to, and you're just dodging and talking around it in generalities. And we had to subpoena you to be here, and you won't even answer the questions. We have asked you repeatedly to answer our questions. This isn't hard. These are not hard questions. Have you provided us all communications from the Secret Service related to that day and that rally? Have you provided this committee? We've asked for this information on July 15th. Have you provided any of this information that this committee has asked of the Secret Service? Any of it?
I'll have to get back to you.
Have you even read this letter that we sent you? Did you even read this?
Yes.
Okay. And you have said you don't know, you have no idea. Well, the answer is no. We haven't gotten a single document or piece of information or data from you or your agency in related to the rally that we have asked you for. So, was this attempted assassination of Donald Trump a failure of training or execution or both?
I think that those are answers that we need to
Training,
examine.
execution, or both? Which one?
I think those are answers.
All right.
we
How
need to
many
determine.
how many Secret Service personnel have lost their jobs due to this colossal failure?
At this time, none.
How many Secret Service personnel have been required to take a refresher course on how not to let people shoot Donald Trump?
Our personnel are currently operational. We
Oh,
are
really?
examining the facts of this investigation, and we will make the changes necessary.
What time did law enforcement become aware that there was an individual on the roof with a clear line of sight to President Trump?
I am still verifying timelines.
Well, we know.
9 days in, you have no answers. How many minutes went by between the time law enforcement saw and took photos of
Yep.
crooks and the shooting? How many minutes?
I am still verifying timelines.
57 minutes.
Almost an hour.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
Almost an hour prior. Almost an hour prior, they knew this guy was there. It's really bad whenever a sitting politician knows a timeline better than the person that is in charge of it. Multiple times, and it wasn't just from one side, it was from both sides. You had a few at the very beginning, the low-hanging fruit, that decided to bring this up as something to do with firearms. Yeah, those were the low-hanging fruit. Those were the idiots. Because this wasn't about the firearm. There was a question asked to her that said, you realize that we have foreign adversaries that would like nothing more than to eliminate Trump. Like, their sole purpose is just that. And yet, you let a 20-year-old, nobody, nothing, wimp of a person be able to, for an hour prior, be able to figure out where he wanted to be, get there, people spot him, and nothing was done with a 20-year-old kid. We'd be having a totally different conversation today had that been somebody else. And that brings me to this next one. It brings me to this next one. Oh, I've seen quite a bit of them. But this is an interesting one with Poso and Tucker.
He came up with stuff during COVID that nobody else got. So I think that we should consider what you're about to say in light of that.
All right, and these are predominantly interviews that were conducted through the local police. And that just right off the start should tell you something, because if Johnson's talking to local police, wait a minute, this is the United States Senator. Shouldn't he have direct access to the Secret Service? Shouldn't he have direct access to the ATF, to the FBI, all of these things? And so as his office has been going through the investigation, they suddenly say, well, yeah, we talked to one guy from the ATF who was sort of there, but then he went dark on us. And we talked to a few people at the Secret Service, and they push us to the spokesman, like you're some reporter. We talked to a few people at FBI, but nothing. And then so local police is saying, whoa, wait a minute, we'll tell you whatever you want to know. So why is it that local police are being more forthcoming than our actual government?
Well, this is why they defunded the police in the first place.
Well, yes, Tucker, that is why they did that. It's because you've got to break that narrative. Mm-hmm.
It's not because they're against police. They seek a police state. They're against anybody with guns they can't control. That's why they're trying to take your AR. I mean, that's the way to understand it.
The goal of defund the police is a national police force,
of course.
Eventually.
Yeah, guys with guns they can control.
And Sharpton has come out and said this.
Obviously. It's so obviously true. Anyway, I keep interrupting you.
So, number one top line, Secret Service did not attend a security briefing that morning.
The morning of the event.
The morning of the event. So, and we can drop back and just explain the whole thing. Donald Trump is having a political rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. This is Western Pennsylvania, about 40 miles north or so of the city of Pittsburgh. On the same day, same evening, Jill Biden, the First Lady of the United States, is holding a dinner event in Pittsburgh. The context of all this is that the RNC is taking place 2 days in advance of it. And so the RNC is taking place. Jill Biden's got the event. Donald Trump is at the event, both in the same Secret Service field office area. Now, there's also a lot of Secret Service down in Milwaukee, where you and I were, at the RNC. So Secret Service is totally stretched at this point. It's not like a normal situation. The security posture, because of this, because of the lack of resources, is much lower. The normal people who would be around President Trump aren't there. His A team, as they're called, aren't necessarily there as much. People are spread to all these different locations. This is the context. We also know that there was a strong theory that President Trump would bring his vice presidential pick to that rally, and certainly this was in discussion, held right on the border of where? Ohio. President Trump that morning, we now know, had a meeting with Senator J.D. Vance, who went on to become the nominee, although that pick was not made until Monday. So J.D. Vance doesn't end up.
Well, I happen to know that was the plan, or one of several plans. That was under discussion. That's a fact.
Yes.
Yes. And you'll be able to watch this over on X. You can totally watch it over there. It is available. It is available on X. Amazing, huh? Oh, there's more. But somebody wanted to see the Russell Fry. Well, I've got that one for you, because that one is pretty good, pretty damn good. And we're going to bring that up for you. We're going to bring that one up for you, and because this, there's only so much, Tucker, that YouTube will allow you to show, because they don't want the truth being out there. Here, let's watch what he has to say here.
Director Cheadle, how long have you been with the Secret Service? 29 years, right?
That's correct.
And how long have you been director of the Secret Service?
Just under 2 years.
During your tenure as director under the Secret Service, I know we're here today to talk about the assassination attempt on President Trump, but how many other security lapses have occurred with protectees under your watch?
I don't have a specific number, but there have been some lapses.
There have been other lapses. Was one of them Jake Sullivan?
Yes, sir.
What happened there?
There was an individual who was able to access Mr. Sullivan's residence.
His residence? A protectee, somebody was able to break into his house. And what happened? Did anyone get fired because of that?
There were individuals who have been reassigned.
Reassigned. What other steps have taken? What I'm seeing, what other incidents have occurred other than Jake Sullivan? Was there an issue with the Secret Service agent and Vice President Harris?
I would not call that a security incident.
Well, it seems to me, I mean, you have security lapses with President Trump. You have security lapses with Jake Sullivan. You have issues with your personnel related to Vice President Kamala Harris. There seems to be a repeated theme here. Would you not agree with that?
I think that we are talking about separate categories of incidents.
Well, I would disagree with that. I think there's a repeated theme when you've got protectees and you're not upholding your core mission. Let me ask you something else. Does the Secret Service routinely record communications between and amongst detail?
Radio communications?
Any communication?
Email communications are captured, as well as text messages, and then depending on the detail, radio communications are recorded.
Does the Secret Service have recorded communications from the July 13th event?
We do not have radio communications from that day.
But you have text messages?
We do have emails and text messages.
Emails, okay, great. Does the head of the Trump detail or someone else embedded in this detail have command decision-making authority, or do they need to seek authorization from someone outside that detail?
The head of the detail has the decision-making authority for things that are necessary for that detail.
Is that standard for protection details?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Let me ask you something. During campaign events, is it common for the Secret Service to utilize other agencies?
Yes, it is.
What other agencies would be providing assistance to the Secret Service?
He is about
There are a
to
number
drop
of
the
other
hammer on
agencies
her.
that provide assistance to the Secret Service during campaigns. We utilize personnel from the Department of Homeland Security. We utilize personnel from the Department of Defense, and we utilize local law enforcement partners.
Are you on the same radios? Do you provide the radios to all the assets that are taking part in protection of an event?
We provide radios to the personnel from the Department of Homeland Security that are assisting us.
But not local law enforcement?
Local law enforcement is working on their own radios.
Are you on the same frequency?
We ensure that we have counterparts in the security room, and so the local law enforcement will place one of their personnel in the security room with our personnel so that we have interoperability communications.
Let me ask you something just about the timeline, because I think this is really interesting that we can't nail that down. I mean, I think there are lay people out there with more knowledge about the timeline than you seem to come before a subpoena in front of Congress. Was Mr. Crooks observed at the AGR building prior to the shooting?
Yes.
He was observed on the grounds outside of our perimeter prior to the shooting.
At approximately...
Oh, and their perimeter? We've seen their perimeter. The perimeter did not exist around that one particular building. Weird, huh? They considered that to be outside of the perimeter. Secret Service perimeter is, if I'm not mistaken, 1,000 yards out. Or it's supposed to be. That a 20-year-old idiot could get there begs a lot of questions. That this perimeter that was set up was supposed to be secured. Secret Service had already pointed to the building and said that's an issue. That they had people even further out that were on Overwatch or something. Really. So these guys were that incompetent that they couldn't even spot somebody. Okay. Wait until he starts asking how many were on this detail. How many were on the Secret Service detail that were provided to Jill Biden? From that office, there were 12. How many were supplied to Trump? 4. Now, that's not saying that Trump didn't have more people there, but the competent Secret Service that they had in that area were all moved to guard the First Lady and a casino with 400 people present. There were, if if I'm not mistaken, close to 20, if not more, 20,000 people to see Trump. Less people, smaller area, didn't need as large of a detail because the whole place is secure with metal detectors and alarms that'll go off if anybody shows up with firearms in that area. Yet they supplied more people in a casino, in a building, than they did for Donald Trump in an open field. Not implying anything for it, by it, or for it. I'm just saying something doesn't smell good in Stinkville.
Approximately what time was that? You don't have to give me the specific minute, but at approximately what time was that?
I believe it was about 45 minutes or so prior to.
57 minutes.
Did the sniper team take a photo of Mr. Crooks?
Yes.
The local team did, yes.
So it was a local team and not a Secret Service sniper?
That took the photo.
Okay. And did he relay that photo to Central Command?
Again, it's an active ongoing investigation, so I want to make...
Whenever she says it's an active ongoing investigation, if she doesn't know by now, then it means that he probably relayed it to find out who this person was. He saw something that looked suspicious, took a photo of him.
Make sure that I'm factual with the route.
Yes or no?
That photo took and who that was disseminated to and when.
What time did when did Mr. Crooks' status go from a suspicion, a person that was under suspicion, to a threat? When did that happen? And maybe not even a specific.
The minute that he pulled the trigger, that's whenever it became a threat to them. Imagine. That's how close that Secret Service allowed this person. What does that say about the Secret Service protecting our current vice president or our current president? What does that say about them? I would be very concerned if I was the president or the vice president at this point of Secret Service. And if they're not concerned, that means that they're involved in it.
Time, Director Cheadle. Maybe
because I'm guessing that you can come up with all kinds of conspiracies, timelines, but whenever you've got the director for Secret Service that's in charge, we're saying the buck stops here, does not want to take responsibility for it. Something doesn't smell good in Stinkville.
a certain event that happened that transformed him from a person of suspicion to a threat. When did that happen?
To the best of my knowledge, based on what I've been told thus far, it's approximately 5 minutes to where individuals relayed that there was an incident being, or an issue, I'm sorry, being worked at the 3 o'clock of the president.
So that was, but it was before the shots were fired?
That is correct, but again, it was not phrased as a threat. It was just that something was being worked.
Yeah, but my question is, when did he become, when did he transform from suspicion to threat? Because they're treated very differently. People can be suspicious, but they're not a threat until a certain point in time. So when did that happen?
Oh, it's an ongoing
I believe that
investigation.
it was seconds before the gunfire started.
Really?
Seconds. My gosh, we actually have a few questions that we got answered today. Listen, I'm going to wrap up here, Mr. Chairman, but here's the frustration that people have. The buck stops with you. You've said that yourself. But the problem in Washington, D.C., it is the only town in America that you can be so bad at your job that you actually get a promotion or don't get fired. You have not been able to answer the number of agents, whether or not requests were denied on additional security, whether or not law enforcement were able to engage before the shooting with the assassin, how he got on the roof, how the rifle got on the roof. You can't tell us how many shots he fired, whether the casings were recovered. You can't tell us anything about his cell phone. You can't tell us whether the rally was supposed to be postponed, given the intelligence that you were receiving. You can't tell us whether the car had a bomb. You can't even tell us his motive.
Well, in this right here, no. It won't be 60 days. Sweetheart. She is going to keep people guessing and the spin going on for the next 106 days. If not longer. Think about this, okay? Right now, we are towards the end of July, okay? End of July right now. This happened right in the middle of July, July 13th, 2024. There was an attempt from a 20-year-old child on a former president, and at that point, just a nominee that hadn't even gotten all of the electorates. We didn't even know at that time who his VP or his running mate was going to be. I mean, they knew. The RNC already knew. They already knew who it was. They were just keeping it quiet because they already had all the little slogans. So there was quite a few people that already knew, but they kept it hush hush, because that's politics. It's a show. They already knew this was going to happen. I'm sure there was a few people in the wings that already knew who it was. So we're right now at the end of July. They still have no answers. Okay, they finally just subpoenaed her and brought her in after she did a horrible interview on the news. What's next month? August. Guess what happens towards the end of August? You've got the DNC gets together to show who their nominee is. And so right now they're trying to get everyone to rally behind Camel Toe. And if anybody speaks out against her, it's going to be some sort of ism, whatever it might be. And guess what happens right after that, within just a few weeks? Yeah. That's whenever people are going to be casting their votes for the next president of the United States. So in November, less than 2 months away, we're going to be making a decision. We're going to be making this decision on who is going to be the next president. And from November to December, if they lose, more shenanigans will happen. It still gives them an opportunity to come after a sitting president, or one that will be taking the position as the next president. And it won't happen until January 6th, whenever those electorates are put in there, and we'll already know, or should know by then, who is going to be sitting in that seat. If their shenanigans don't hold up, it's going to get much, much worse. In the next couple of months, the attacks on candidates is going to grow. It's going to increase. And I don't mean physical attacks. I mean the verbal attacks that they spew out. It was interesting to me that they went from, we need to cut down on the violent rhetoric, right around the time that there was an attempt on a former president. Right after that, it was, we need to be not talking all this violent talk. Well, the right wasn't. They hadn't the whole time. At all. The Republican Party has been talking about, uniting everyone for a common purpose, for a common goal. And their failed attempt at a former president, or someone's attempt at a former president, failed. We'd be having a different conversation had Trump not turned his head at the last second. And if you're curious about, this was done by the RNC, I would suggest watching Brendan Herrera's breakdown of this. To give you an idea, this guy wasn't using a scope, using a red dot sight, which is horrible for that distance. Basically, that little red dot, all he could see was the entire melon of the president. Had it been a high-powered scope or something, that would be a different story. But it wasn't. An older model of an AR-15 that was sort of crappy. It is amazing to me that people are out there having this conspiracy that this was planned by the Republican Party to injure Trump. No, somebody fired a shot, missed. They got the ear. It's more important that the people standing behind Trump are the ones that were hit. There was a human life taken by someone going after a former president. And Secret Service is yet to answer any of those questions. The director for Secret Service refuses to answer the questions. It's all, I'll get back to you on that. Do you think that she will ever get back to him on this? No. Yeah, you wouldn't aim for the head if it was staged. No. But of course he doesn't know, because there's a possibility Trump could have been wearing body armor. So what is the most vulnerable place that you go for? It's just a bad shot. It is angelic that he turned his head at the exact instant he did. It doesn't take away from the people that were standing behind him. This is the lack of concern that this person had. Had it been staged, it would have made sure that nobody was there in that area that could have gotten hit. It's a scary thought that a former president came that close to being assassinated. Especially whenever you have foreign actors that probably are trained a little bit better than that. That would probably be able to coordinate something a little bit better. And if Secret Service couldn't notice this one person, stop them before they did something, what state of affairs does that put the rest of the country in? If one 20-year-old child, manlet, with gelatin arms, was able to pull this off, that's a scary thought.
And the American people are incredibly distrustful because it has taken 9 days to even get a scintilla of evidence out of you. Maybe if I was CNN or ABC or NBC, I would have gotten much more thorough and accurate information, but we have not received that in a subpoenaed hearing in front of this Congress. That is why the American people are frustrated, and I echo the bipartisan calls on this committee and all across this country that you should resign, or maybe when the president wakes up from his nap, he can fire you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair, now.
Yeah. Yes, you can survive a headshot. Anything in this area is considered a headshot, okay? Like you can get hit in the mouth, that's considered a headshot. You can get hit in the nose, it's considered a headshot. You can take off an ear, that's considered a headshot. Yeah. Tooth, whatever. Chin, doesn't matter, still considered a headshot. Anything from the neck above, headshot. Yes, you can survive it. Plenty of people have. But his, I want clarification on her 3 o'clock position. Answer. No, she should have resigned. Yeah. Savage Biden burn. Yeah, absolutely. No, she should be more than fired. I would say they need to go much further step in there on this. She should be fired, lose all of her pension. Every single bit of it should be taken away from her. Her job as director, as being head of this group, is supposed to take full responsibility. Do you think she would? Somebody asked, do you think she would have stepped down had Trump been deleted? Do you think she would have stepped down? Do you think anybody would have been fired over it? Leaves interesting questions that'll never be answered. Yeah, she's rich at work from working at PepsiCo. No, they should fine the hell out of her too. Like, put her in the poorhouse. Just, we're talking unbelievable amounts of money should be removed from her. I mean, here's the thing. They went after Alex Jones. The survivors went after Alex Jones. For what was it? How many billions? Trillion? They went after Alex Jones for misinformation. That's what they went after Jones for. And he never pulled a single trigger on any of that happened. Although he came back and apologized for what he said and he was wrong, they still came after him. But yet, you've got someone that won't provide any information, that lies repeatedly to Congress, or just won't give them any information, that allowed someone to be assassinated. It didn't hit his target, hit somebody else. They were assassinated. Yet, they do nothing. Two-tiered system? Maybe. And you wonder why people don't like the justice system currently? This is what to expect for the next few months. And if Trump wins, what it's going to look like for the next 4 years plus, 4.5 years. What is it going to look like? This is only the tip of the iceberg. It's about to get worse. But hey, we're here for the shit show because that's what we do. We enjoy it. It makes our day. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm going to send you guys over to Mo. I think she might be finishing up. So I think I'm sending you guys over to Baker. I knew today was going to run a little bit long. It's a mess. Don't let the politics stuff bring you down. Just know what's coming at you. See where to dodge the bullets and stay out of it. Don't engage with these people in violent acts. Of course, for them, a violent act is just you looking or having a minor disagreement with them, and they consider it violence. So just avoid them. Whenever they act fool, just look at them and smile and walk away. Giving them a response is what they're after. They're like trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Be kind to one another. Say hey to Baker whenever you get over there. You guys have a wonderful day. I will see you probably later tonight. I've got something I'm working on, and hopefully it comes off really good. But in the meantime, everybody have a safe day. Show Baker you love him. I'll see you soon. Peace, y'all.
somebody to come get me because my car had turned into a spaceship and I don't know how to fly it. I'm not an astronaut.